All right, so while I was piddle farting around doing the chores with you all, somebody got up bright and early. Good morning, welcome to Stivers Homestead on this kind of very October-y, eerie kind of look. The fog isn't here, but you can tell there's something not right in the air. We got a few days of, I think, some storms coming in. So I wanted to show you all because a lot of people asked, where are the babies going for shelter? So I already had this thing in here. It just wasn't on the film, but I had this very just quick idea to throw up a couple counter panels like you're building a garden trellis. T-post, 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 2 cattle panels, wrapped them over, put a tarp on it, and have a back wind block because our storms come over that barn right this way. So any wind, rain is going to shoot here. Left it open on the bottoms for airflow because it can get a little hot underneath the tarp when the sun's actually out. But this is perfect. Even the dogs love it. And the dogs and the goats are getting along great together. So it's been really good and it works out well. And they have been good little girls. Yes, you have. Good little girls. And a turkey. So I wanted to show you all that for really 2 reasons. One, they got shelter. That's the thing about goats. They hate being wet. Like, they're going to lose it, and they can get really sick if they stay too wet too long. So you want to make sure they have some form of a shelter to get out of the rain and just stay dry. Throw a little hay or straw in there, and they'll be good to go. The second reason is we get a lot of people saying, I ain't got a barn, Zach and Jen. What am I going to do with these animals? Like, I want animals, but I'm on bare land. We don't have structures built up. The whole point of homesteading is not about being pretty. Now, it's nice, don't get me wrong. We worked hard for that daggone barn, but we didn't start there. We started there with makeshift buildings that we put together ourselves. And so part of homesteading is getting really, really creative. And so that is getting really, really creative. You can throw that up in a pasture anywhere that you wanted to. If you're a gardener and you watch any kind of gardening shows, you probably got some cattle panels laying around, especially when we're getting into winter and we're not gardening anymore. So a couple cattle panels, tarp, bam, done. I know our friends over at Cog Hill, they're building a brand new property that they just bought, and they got something that's very similar, but it's already sealed. Like, it's like a sheet metal that just bends over. So don't make excuses that you can't have animals because you don't have structures. Get creative. Thanks, bro. Man, that sunrise this morning was beautiful. We normally don't get to see any kind of sunrise. And like when I had that first clip that you all saw, that was at like 7:30. It takes so long to get bright around here. I love it. Me and Jim was actually talking about it last night. We were watching the Max, Kobe, and Misty over there, and he said it was about 7:30 in the morning, and it was like bright and sunny, like so sunny. And I looked at her, I said, it don't look like 7:30 around here. It's just wild how different it is, and the mountains, and then how kind of it is in, you know, deep South Mississippi where they are. It's pretty wild. I like the dark. Man, we are 100% at peak, and it's going away fast, but the colors are beautiful here. There's 2 though that always give us a lot of love. That one right there stays colorful so long. I want to say Jen told me it was a crepe myrtle, but it'll be colorful when there's no leaves left. And then my favorite tree we have, I think, is this mimosa tree. I think that's what it's called. Grammy can correct me if I'm wrong. But we only got one, and they're all over the place down here. They're so cool. The leaves are beautiful. But that's my favorite tree. That one has the longest color. But right now, this one's the prettiest. And we are looking at it, and the leaves, y'all, are maple leaves. But I don't believe this is a maple tree, because we do have some. And it's very small leaves. Here's one of its leaves. And we've done the plant this app and all that good stuff, but we're not getting a clear answer. Y'all help me out. What is that tree? It's freaking gorgeous, though, I can tell you that much. And just so there's no confusion, some of the leaves look like this, rounded edges, not spiky. Help me out. And remember I told y'all, these walnuts look bare as day before everything else does. It was pretty, though. It was pretty while they lasted. Walnuts everywhere. All right, so while I was piddle farting around doing the chores with you all, somebody got up bright and early.
Might be the earliest I've ever gotten up.
So one good thing about homeschooling and working from home and all that good stuff, we don't have the hours a lot of you all have. So Jen had to get up at about 5 a.m., had about 2 hours away to get an Azure Standard order.
Yes.
So the closest pickup is in Rogersville, Tennessee, which is a little hike away.
Yeah. It's not that bad. It's not that, like, the distance was nothing. It's just the paths that you have to take.
Right. You gotta go
through
over
the
mountains.
over, like, literally over and through it, and fog and darkness.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize that it doesn't get light outside.
She usually wakes up when it's light. But we will get into her experience with that in a minute. But we wanted to show you all what we got. This is what, our second or third time doing this? Second. The first.
It was my first pickup.
Right.
My second order. My first order was shipped to the house.
Why would someone want to buy from Azure Standard?
It's just a family-based, wholesome company. A lot of it is organically and ethically grown, and it's a really cool place to order from and know that you're getting really good food.
And bulk, right? You can really get bulk pretty easily. So at least that's my main thing.
Yep.
I'll hold my tongue until later about what I think about the experience. So let's
It's a little bit more difficult. It's not like you just order something like from Amazon.
Right.
There's a process to it, and it can get technical.
And it's kind of built around this lifestyle, farm homesteading lifestyle. So that's, you're going to find the things that you're looking for, I guess what I'm trying to say. All right, let's see what you got.
So we made a lot of our butter from our cow's milk, and I froze a lot of it. Unfortunately, we're already almost through it, so that's why I wanted to get this. However, we do still have lard.
I'll note.
From our pig.
Daisy is dried up now.
Yes.
She is pregnant. We're going into the winter months, so she's dry. So that's why we're not making more.
Yeah, continue. So I got 15 1-pound things of Rumiano natural butter, salted, and they're beautiful. I'm really excited to have them. I'm going to freeze them. I don't want to use them yet because, like I said, I do still have some, but we're running out, and I have lard. So we're just going to kind of cycle through that, and that way we just make sure that we have good butter until she's back in milk again. So all of our tomatoes that we grow, we usually just turn into tomato juice or spaghetti sauce, stuff like that. I have never made paste out of our own tomatoes because it takes so many, and it's just not something I've ventured into. So I got 12 cans of organic tomato paste that we can use this winter for thickening up our spaghettis and chilies and all that good stuff. I got 2 5-pound bags of Himalayan pink salt. That's just always what we use, and my last order that I had from them was actually out, so it was time to get some more. I got 2 10-pound bags of all-purpose flour. I got a huge 40-pound box of organic onions. We're supposed to be growing our own, but we haven't gotten our sets yet, so this will just give us a jump start, and they're beautiful. You can't really see in there, but they're really good onions. Some other things that we like to buy in bulk and organically are spices, because you just want to make sure that you're having good stuff. So we got 1 pound of ground cayenne pepper.
Which we made that last year, but we didn't grow cayennes this year.
Yeah, so we're out. We've got 16 ounces of some parsley flakes.
It's a big old bag.
We've got a big bag of bay leaves. It's 1 pound of bay leaves that are whole leaves.
Fun fact, if you're unfamiliar, they keep ants away. You just need to lay them on your windowsill.
Yep. We got 1 pound of rosemary leaves. Rosemary, bay, and all that stuff is just a lot that I use in the wintertime for broths and chicken and all that good stuff. I got a pound of dried cranberries because Thanksgiving's coming and it's almost time to make cranberry salad. So we're going to do it organically this year. I got a pound of ground black pepper. I got 1 pound of garlic. That's just not much, but it'll do for a little while.
Yeah.
Until we can get around grown. I got 2 pounds of ginger root, organic ginger root, because fire cider and all the things.
All the things, but she'll be making more fire cider very soon. Yep. I'm excited.
A pound of garlic powder, organic. I got a pound of this. It's new to me. I haven't tried it before, but it's Fiesta Mexican seasoning.
Taco night.
I thought it'd be cool to try. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of tacos. This one's also new to me. I got a pound of barbecue seasoning.
2 of those.
And I got 2 pounds of ground allspice, organic, all are organic, gluten-free, GMO-free, all that stuff. Allspice, again, wintertime. And this was Zach's purchase. So we went to HOA and we stayed at our little Airbnb that we had there. They had this pure Castile soap. It's lavender, and I've always loved it, but he didn't really know what it was.
I'm an Irish Spring kind of guy, right? I like my Irish Spring. Go ahead.
And he tried it, and he was like, "What was that?" So, usually you can get it at like Kroger's and stuff. We don't have a Kroger, so I actually found it at Azure.
And yes, Jen does make her own soap, and I would happily use it, but you all love it so much, we literally sell it all.
Our family doesn't get the pleasure of using my soaps.
Right. So I'll go with, who is this? Dr. Bronner's? I'll go with that.
Okay, the last thing that I got this round was 12 of these Gamma Seal lids.
I'm almost as excited for that as the soap.
I'm pretty excited because all this stuff you see, it's got to be stored. Usually I do it in mason jars, but that's hard to come by these days. And our mason jars are being used for canning. So they have buckets for sale, but I'm actually just going to go to like Walmart or Lowe's and get them because they're a little bit cheaper. And then use these lids and store them in the basement. So that'll be cool. They're the Gamma Seal lids.
So not just on top of our bulk stuff, but also our freeze-dried food as well. Because when you have them in those Mylar bags, those don't sit like mason jars, right? You want to put them in something that they're going to be going out, so that's a good thing. And the whole point of this lid, if you've never seen it, is it screws on instead of just pops on. So you have this top, you roll it. Sorry, this snaps on to your bucket with a ring inside. And then you screw this on tight to seal it down. So that's why it's cool and not just buying a lid.
Yeah, it's very long-term storage.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a nap.
I bet you are. So the first time we did Azure Standard, we got a very small order, and we had it shipped to our home. Now, that's the whole point. Shipping to your home is very expensive. Mm-hmm. So they do these drop locations. Big Semi has a bunch of different orders on, and there's a drop location that you go to, and you go pick it up from the semi truck itself. Pretty neat idea. In rural areas like us, it's a little bit harder to find things that are, 20, 30 minutes away. So ours was 2 hours. That's not a huge ordeal. That was still our choice. We could make that decision beforehand. Well, the first order that we got came very busted. Mm-hmm. Half the stuff in it...
This was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, half the stuff that was in it was completely busted. She had to call. Now, they did end up sending new ones, but it's just kind of like, well, why was it so packed tight? Like, it was the tightest packed I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, we was like, you know what? We'll try it again later down the road. So a lot of you all, especially our friend over at Fermented Homestead, has been doing a lot of Azure hauls. Well, that got Jen going back on and starting her shopping cart.
2 years later, I was ready to try again.
Yeah, and she's like, well, we're going to do the normal way and do the pickup. So, being 2 hours away, they usually deliver through the week. I had to take off work. So, it was scheduled for Friday. Mm-hmm. They said, your order's early. Mm-hmm. It'll be there Thursday. So, I took off a half day Thursday, which was yesterday. And that morning, an unexpected delay happened.
An indefinite delay.
Indefinite delay. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, I don't know. So what we didn't know is we weren't going to go pick up the order that day. No. So she called them. Apparently they had a sister, whole site issue that probably had a part to play in the mix. But they said, we don't know.
But she said it could be tomorrow, probably the same time. So I was like, well, that stinks because we've already arranged for that to be done. Now, tomorrow's going to be a different story, but whatever, I'll go get it.
Right.
So then I get an email at about 10 o'clock last night saying that it will be ready at 8 a.m. this morning.
The next morning. So 10 p.m. we got the email. 8 a.m. the next morning it was ready.
So we're 2 hours away. So I had to figure out what I was going to do. I talked to the lady. She's a really good host. She was very sweet. She said, I'll hold it for you. Blah, blah, blah. Get here when you get here. But I was like, you know what? If I wait and don't get there when the truck gets there, I'm not going to have any help loading this stuff because Zach can't go. So I made the choice to get up super duper early, get there by 8 a.m. so that I could potentially have help loading.
Yeah.
On my way, I get an email that says the truck got here at 5, or the truck would be there at 5 a.m.
So meaning it was already gone.
Yeah. So like I'm already en route and I'm thinking the truck is already gone. So I'm like, well, whatever, I still have to get it. I'll just figure it out myself. I'll load it up. When I get there at 8 a.m., the truck was getting there. So the truck got there at 8 a.m. Thankfully I had help, but what a mess.
Yeah, and she kept asking the people that she's talking on the phone, like, is this common? Like, is this a common thing to expect when we order through Azure? They kept saying no, but the two times we've purchased in a 2-year span, we've had similar issues where we've had to call customer service. Now, again, we've only done it twice. A lot of people seem to have great success with it. Maybe it's just our rural area and some of the pickup spots, because it sounds like that guy even said that area was they've had to like send 8 trucks out because they have issues out there. So maybe it's just our spot. Will we order again? Probably not in another 2 years. You gotta let this one wear off.
I probably will, because I did talk to the lady and she was really nice. And me and her are thinking about, like, I don't know, figuring something out that's a little bit easier. And if we can do that, then I will. However, I am not chasing a truck around again because it's just too much. I mean, it's like he said, we're really rural. Like, we can't hop on the interstate and get to the drop-off. Like, we have to drive through mountains and fog and darkness. The sun does not come up until very late. And then even when it does, you're still driving through fog. Like, it's not just as easy as, okay, the truck's here, come get it.
Yeah, and the whole reason they do this drop spot is to try to make it cheaper.
Yeah.
Being able to have one truck deliver a bunch of orders to one location instead of having to go to a bunch of different ones makes it cheaper on cost from the logistics side of things, which results into the product. So I get it. Just the communication needs to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe that'll work itself out in kinks. I did forget to mention, we got 10 40-pound bags of organic alfalfa pellets for our animals. They're in the truck. I got to go take them to the barn. Alfalfa pellets are really hard to find. Like, if you go to a co-op or a farm store, they normally don't sell alfalfa pellets. Mainly only like Tractor Supplies and Roll Kings has been the only place I can find an organic alfalfa pellet. So them having that was huge, and it was $1 cheaper than Tractor Supply. Yeah. So that was really cool. That was like what made me, that and the soap. I was like, yeah, let's do this thing. So if we do it, I definitely will probably order a lot more of that too.
Order-wise, I think we're extremely satisfied with what we got.
Yeah, that's the thing. You love the product. Yeah. It's just getting it to your home.
It's rough.
But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed today's video, seeing the little makeshift house I did for the goats, and hopefully, you know, inspiring you all to not make excuses on shelter for your animals. Remember, we all don't get started with a barn. We're not all that lucky. So get creative, figure something out, and then checking out this awesome order that we have here.
We love you.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.